A jury picked here in Davidson County decided the fate of Jason Chen. Now we sit down with a juror to find out what went on in that deliberation room.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Jason Chen, guilty of first-degree premeditated murder.
It was a relatively quick decision, less than an hour to reach a verdict.
It was this room, and there was 100 or so people in this room.
In a case that juror Sarah Reed had never heard of before she entered this Nashville jury room.
The fact that they have to sequester us for it, I knew it was going to be much bigger than just your average homicide case.
The charge Chen faced, first-degree premeditated murder. But when the defense made their opening statements,
in the early morning hours of November 23rd, 2022, Jason Chen killed Jasmine Pace. He didn't do it with premeditation. This is a voluntary manslaughter case.
was that a surprise?
Yes, yes. And I learned only later that it was a surprise to everyone. Even the state had, no one, even the mother, the parents, the family had never heard that being admitted.
The first days were full of graphic descriptions and autopsy photos as the courtroom saw the 60 stab wounds that littered Jasmine Pace's body.
That was obviously hard to see, but then in my head go, kind of that thought of like, who can treat another person this way, and so those were difficult.
You go in that deliberation room.
Yeah.
Is the first vote unanimous?
No.
Reed says the big question, could they find premeditation?
For me, the one of the most helpful parts was when General Moyle shared at the beginning of his closing statements about the yellow light.
As someone approaches this traffic light, they have a choice. You step on the gas, you step on the brakes.
And that analogy, we've all been there. We've all had to, chosen to make the decision to hit the gas and go through that yellow light or stop. And at the end of it, he had a choice to stop at any moment.
What Reed said didn't play much into their decision, the defense's focus on Jasmine's family going into Chen's apartment to search for her before police arrived.
Every single person who went into that room or that apartment had a part in contamination, but it kind of didn't matter on our deliberations because we already knew what was admitted, that he murdered her.
In sentencing, Reed says the jurors had a harder time agreeing. Their choices, life in prison with or without the possibility of parole. But in the end,
Jasmine's family doesn't have the opportunity to see her in 51 years like Jason's family could. She will never come back. And so for her life, it should be his life. To me, that's fair.
Reed says it was important for her to give Jasmine's family at least some form of closure. If you had the chance to talk to Jasmine's family at this point, what would you say?
Wow, I would tell them they fought like hell. They fought hard, and her daughter fought hard. I think her daughter solved her own murder by sending that location.
In Nashville, Latricia Thomas, News Channel 9.